What's up? What's up, YouTube? So here we go. It's Philosophical Friday here, and we're going to be talking about something very interesting, which a lot of people don't know about, and that is the game of chess. Now, I feel every God-blessed American should know how to play chess. Every man should know how to play chess. Chess is even good for women. And the reason why is because chess teaches you strategy, it teaches you critical thinking skills, and it teaches you how to lose and keep going. Like one of the most powerful pieces on chess is the queen, you know? And the queen can move across the entire board, and she can crush any opponent. Just like beautiful women in life, they can move across, you know, their poverty sector, right? You ever notice a woman that when she's like real poor, yet she's stunningly beautiful, how she only dates rich guys, wealthy guys. So it's easy for her because of her beauty, right? But the king, just like chess, can only move one space. It can only move, and I used to think, I'm like, why is the king? King is the most powerful. Like if you kill the king, you win the game. But in king, the king is primarily supposed to be defensive, and it's harder for him. And it's just like in life, it's harder for men to become men of value. Like nobody's giving it to you. Nobody has said that, well, hey, you can do it yourself. And I mean, were you, let me ask you, James, were you born wealthy? Were you born into money?
No, hell no.
Tell me your struggle. Was it hard?
It's interesting. I guess, I mean, I think, I guess my struggle is just that I just come from a broken family. So my mom died when I was a baby, year old. You know, my dad was an addict, and you know, other addicts in my family. I was raised by my grandparents, who had already had 9 kids. So I just grew up around just a ton of dysfunction. I guess that was my struggle. So my struggle, really, I think the struggle of my life has been unwiring all the dysfunction that got wired when I was a kid.
Well, I mean, at the same time, you were able to generate wealth to where you're living overseas, which, let's say, most people can't do, won't take the risk to do. So there was some work involved with that. I mean, I'm not just talking about mental, you know, I'm not talking about the personal aspect. I'm talking about
Sure.
the financial aspect, from actually being a professional and making yourself marketable where you could make money on the outside world. Was that something that was a struggle, and how was that road to getting where you are now? Was it difficult on a professional level?
I don't know that I'd call it difficult, but it was work. I think the one thing that, you know, kind of going back to my childhood, the one thing that I was taught was taught how to work. I have work ethic, right? I work my butt off. So whereas I tell people I dropped out of high school, man. I dropped out of high school when I was like 16, right? But yet, you know, I'm hiring, managing, and firing people with master's degrees all the time, right? Even though I've never attained a degree. And that happened because I worked my butt off. I worked multiple jobs. I worked hard at every job I had. I always moved up. I learned. I worked hard at learning. So I don't know if that answers your question, but
yeah, I mean that's basically what I was going back to, which is the king is the most powerful piece on the chessboard. You kill him, you win the game. You can kill the queen, and you could still keep playing the game. However, the king can only move one space. He can move in any direction. He can move in any direction, but he can only move one space at a time. So, like men, right? I kind of see like, okay, like ourselves, like that's how it is. I mean, we've got to work hard. Nothing's given to us. It's something that just a work ethic. Your key to success, sounds to me, correct me if I'm wrong, was your work ethic. You're willing to
Yeah.
do whatever it takes, willing to stay longer hours. It's funny because I dropped out of college too. I just got my $100,000 college degree. It came in the mail, which
Nice.
I kind of really doesn't matter now anymore. I'm no longer in the workforce, but and I'm never going to work. I'm never going to work for anybody else. I like working for myself. I'm
Yeah.
going to be serving others. Um, but you know, the thing is, a lot of people, they want the intellectual. They want the intellectual stimulation, yet they don't have the patience. And what chess teaches you, it teaches you, okay, before I move this piece, before I move this pawn or this knight or this rook, I'm going to make sure that I know what my other opponent is going to do, right? And when you want something from somebody, you don't, or you want somebody to do something for you, you don't just say, "Hey, go do this," and expect them to do it joyfully. No, what do? Right? You ask them, "Hey, um, you know, I've been really feeling, really, this is a subject that's been bothering me. Can I share with you something that's bothering me?" And they'll open up, they'll listen, right? They're more apt to listen. You say, "Can you please stop doing this when I see you, because it's bothering me, it's hurting me." And then they're like, "Oh, I didn't know that was bothering," right? So now you're, instead of telling that person, "Hey, do this," you give them the reason why. You're more strategic about it. You're more diplomatic about your influence when you're influencing that person. You're getting the same result. You're getting, "I want you to do this action for me," yet you're going about a different way. That's about chess. It teaches you strategical thinking. And not enough people nowadays know about strategical thinking. They're on their phones because they want, and even I myself, I'm guilty of this myself, because our mind wants stimulation, wants intellectual stimulation. So I just want to challenge you to start looking at the game of chess as something that you may want to learn how to do. Learn, just play one game between now and next week, and think, "Hey, man, I might have something that that you might learn something out of that." Have you ever played at all? Have you ever played chess?
Yeah, I mean, I've played a few times. I've played online. I mean, I've at least taken the time to try to learn how to play. I hear what you're saying, and I think I've heard that from people many, many times, which is what had got me interested in chess in the first place. I do feel like there's other places you can learn that stuff.
Like where?
Well, you can learn it in sports. You can learn it in business. I think a lot of where I've learned the things you're talking about, thinking strategically. I like the example you gave, because that it sounds like most of my jobs, right? As a leader, you got to be able to influence people, versus just telling people what to do, right? You want to be able to influence them. So I think there's other ways to learn that. So
I agree. Remember Bruce Lee said leadership is we're artists, right? It's the
sure.
art of influencing people. You don't just influence people, but you do it in such a way like, damn, I didn't even realize I'm doing something with enthusiasm, right? Because you want to go to the next level. As far as, if someone is working for you and you want them to start serving food, you don't want them to serve food with a low energy. You want them to have some kind of enthusiasm about it. We want to have some kind of passion about it, because you want people to go to your business. You want people to go that extra mile for you, and you got to be liked, right? As a leader, I want people to like me, but at the same time, I'm not going to be influenced on what they think, like whether if they agree or disagree or whatnot like that. I have to be able to influence them for my vision.
Let me ask you this question: how much of chess is memory versus strategy?
I am not a good chess player if I'm not a grandmaster, but I would say none of it is on memory. I'm not, now, on my level, on a beginner's level. But I think that as you become grandmaster, as you become master, and as you become a more advanced player, I think memory does play a part of it. Now, there's people when they do a chess move, because you have different pieces. And let's talk about that for real quick. You got your pawn, which is your lower piece. You got your rook, which is the castle that moves all around. Then you have your knight, which is able to jump other pieces, and then you have your bishop, which can kill diagonally. And then you have, of course, you have your queen and then your king. Now, the most of them, the more expendable pieces are your pawns, right? Um, so there are people that are able to know they will move 8 moves ahead strategically in their mind. They'll think, okay, if I move this, they'll play out the piece of 8 moves ahead of what you're going to do, which is brilliant. I'm not at that level, but what I like about it is because you have pieces that are more powerful and pieces that are less powerful, like about life, right? You have the boss, then you have the worker, and you have, okay, well, even though I'm a pawn, right? But at the same time, I don't have to be a pawn. I can be a knight and I can even be a king, depending on how I strategically place myself. See, now let's go on. Let's go on to that. Let's transition into one of my greater books. You probably know this one is the 31 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. And then one of the things he talks about is being able to manipulate other people. There's nothing wrong with manipulating. People manipulate all the time. Your parents manipulate you. Your wife manipulates you. I manipulate women. It's not wrong in and of itself. You have to look at what is your motive. Now, if I'm telling my niece, I want you to eat your vegetables, then we'll go out and play video games later. I'm manipulating her to do something or influencing her to do something that's going to turn out for a better good. So when you look at the game of chess, when you look at the tactics and strategies of chess, you can see how you can manipulate the board. And a lot of it is what I'll do is, let's say I'm playing chess with you, right? I will get in your head. I will make moves where I will do stuff like, I will say, you know what, you should probably move this piece over here. And then you move this piece over here, and then I crush you with one of my moves. And then you get pissed at me, and then I start laughing at you, right? What I'll do is I like getting in your head, because then you get frustrated, right? And then you start getting frustrated. Then you start making ridiculous moves, and you start losing the game. That strategy, it's a mental strategy one of the mental strategies that I do. And a lot of times I'll be playing the computer, and the computer is better than me. And what I'll do is it'll move and it'll crush me, and I'll get frustrated, and I'll start making these moves that'll I'll start making these moves that will go ahead and cause me to lose the game, because I get frustrated. See, and that's the thing, chess teaches you how to stay calm and how to stay rational and logical when there's chaos going all around you, and that's one thing. It's a mental stimulation. And what I do is when I like teaching, like I was able to teach my sister, which was great. I would go and I say, like, well, okay, why are you making that move? Don't you see what's happening? And I'd have her look at the game, and she'd be like, oh, and she started really slowing down on her move. She wasn't making these fast moves. She started slowing down with her moves, and then she started thinking, okay, if I move here, he's going to do this. If I move here, he's going to do this. You see what I mean? And that's the fun in it. That's the fun in it. And go back to what you were saying about, okay, well, why can't I just open up a business, or why can't I be on a sports team? Okay, so let's use that example for that. And let's use your example. All right, now let's say I go on a baseball team or something, a softball team after work. Now I got to put on a uniform. I got to go over there, right? I got to run. Not everybody likes to do physical exercise. Now it's about 2 hours of my time, and then actually play the game. Right? Chess you can do in like a half an hour, we're in air conditioning. I could play a guy who's 80 years old in chess. It's portable. I can do it right here, and we could just, we could lock down. What do you have to say about that? Give me your what any objections?
I don't. I think those are good points. 'Cause especially the point about, you can, your the 80-year-old guy example. I think you could even expand that. I think the idea though is you can play remotely with all different sorts of people and have different experiences. I think that's a good point.
And it's just I like basketball because basketball you can talk smack, back and forth, but just like in checkers you can also talk smack and play the game, but checkers is a little bit different. It's with numbers. It's not as many. I mean, there are literally millions and millions of strategies you can use with chess, and chess is the game of kings. Emperors played chess. It kind of takes me back in time. You're playing a game that's thousands and thousands of years old. I think it's something I want to be able to influence you to get you to next time we talk on Friday, see if you played a game of chess, at least
All
one
right.
game.
All right. I'll try it out.
Okay, all right.
Mm.
So that's it for Philosophical Friday. Hopefully we would get more people watching this to play chess. It's a great game, and definitely have your mind thinking into critical thinking skills. Thanks for watching.